and I ate shit on that, like on Amsterdam. So I learned my lesson from that. That's a dangerous road. You gotta watch it on Amsterdam. Trying to take it easy because I got this monitor in the back. I do not want to crack it. And Third Avenue has like these manholes that really are rough. Oh man, take your back out. But I'm gonna have to check out the suspension on this thing because I remember this bike being a little high, the KLR. I was 6 foot, I'm 6'2", and I remember it being not quite flat-footed. I could be wrong, but I just remember it being like that. And then maybe I'm getting confused with my XR because I just switched from the XR to the KLR. I always do that every winter. When the weather gets really cold, I switch to the KLR because it has the wind protection. And I find it just to be a better winter bike. It's got a little bit more weight to it, which I have learned with my lesson about, in really cold weather and roads that might not be 100%. You would think you would want a nice, nimble, light bike, but it's not the case. You want something with a little bit of weight to it. And KLR's got enough weight to it to keep you planted. Whereas I found, like, I used to ride a DRZ 400. I loved that bike. It was awesome. But I ate shit on that one time up in Harlem. Not a bad accident. I just was taken off from a site, and my back wheel just kicked on me. Like, for nothing but... And what I was doing was I was parked on a snow mound. That was also very stupid. Because I couldn't find a parking spot, so I just backed the bike on top of a snow mound, and I had dirt tires, and studs, and I was usually good to go with those, but the tread filled up with snow, and man, I just lost it. I just pulled away from the customer, and my back wheel just like kicked. I wasn't even revving the engine. And you can see the scrape marks from the studs that tried to grab. Just ate shit on that. Not a big deal. I was going very slow. And usually once your tires get warmed up, you're fine. Because you have to warm your tires up when it gets down to like below 30s. You want to get those tires warmed up a little bit. And I found like the tires that I use do pretty well in the cold weather. But anyway, getting back to that, the weight of the DRZ 400 was light. It was a light bike, and that would not leave you as planted as you are on the KLR. Because the KLR, being at 430 pounds, is very planted. You don't get that loss of traction you're not going to slide as easily on a KLR because you're so planted, and also in the wind. Like this bike, I could drive through some heavy winds and I don't get blown around, which is very common here in New York. It's not like Chicago, but it gets windy, and I think a KLR is a better bike in the wind. I don't have much experience with a lot of different bikes, though. I did have a BMW F800 GS, and that bike was very, very disappointing. Matter of fact, that bike didn't last a year in New York because the rims just got bent up to shit, and just from normal stuff like this, you know. So, you know, I don't think maybe they've changed the F800, but the F800 is, you know, I had a 2011 F800, and it was a total garbage. Rims bent up, clutch slipping, couldn't get the clutch adjusted right. It was just, I mean, I just had one problem after another. Engine poorly made, burning oil, I mean, everything you could think of. I was completely unhappy with the F800. And actually, not even a question of being unhappy. It was just completely unreliable. I ended up doing an insurance thing on it because the engine blew on it, and I was just like, I was on the Harlem River Drive, and the engine went, the oil light came on, and bam, the engine just went, like, no warning at all. Normally on a bike you get a little warning with the oil light, and that was the end of that bike. But based on my experience, the KLR is not a beautiful bike. It's not going to turn any heads, but it definitely has its reliable factor. It's got a cult following, so I can understand why, because if you're looking for a bike that's not going to let you down, it's a really good bike. I mean, the last time I broke down in the Bronx, I was able to fix it right on the side of the road. You know, I've always been able to get home. I don't like bikes where I can't get home, because New York is such a rough place to live. You know, like, I'm sure other riders know it too. Being the fact that if you don't make it home, and you can't make it home for some reason, and you leave your bike on the side of the road, like for example over here in Harlem. Harlem is getting nice, but it's still Harlem. You know, I mean, there's a lot of riders from the Bronx that come through here looking at bikes. You know, they see people that just moved to New York, and that's a very common thing. Someone will just move to New York. They'll be from LA. They'll be like, I had a motorcycle in LA. I'm going to get a motorcycle here. And then they park it, like, for example, right over here on the side of the road, locked to something. They just assume their bike is safe. And then they come up the next day and it's gone. And even regular hardened New Yorkers lose bikes. I mean, it's just not easy. But basically, you really have to have something that's reliable. And if you had a bike that broke down on you and you were in the Bronx, for example, and then you decided, or right here in Harlem even, you said, you know what, I can't figure this out, so I'm going to have to wait until tomorrow to figure it out, and I'll leave the bike where it is. So you're either going to have to push it to where it's going to be legal the next day, because the city will tow the bike if it's not in a legal spot. And then if it's not going to get towed by the city, which I've had bikes towed by the city, and it takes them a while to find it, because, you know, first they'll just say, I went to 3 precincts one time when I got a bike towed, and one guy told me, I know your bike is in the system because I can see there's something about it. But then 3 police officers told me, without even looking at their computer, oh, your bike's stolen, you know. They didn't even look in the computer. I had to, like, push them. No. There's somebody who told me, that other officer said that the bike is in the system. They said, no, it's stolen. And it took me a while to get them to say, hey, all right, yeah, the bike is in the system. It's in the system. It's at this tow yard. It took me like 2 days to get the bike, and I pay for storage and all that stuff. But if your bike breaks down here in New York, you got to get that thing home, and AAA don't pick up here. So, and then good luck trying to find a tow driver. Say, like now, in the middle of the holidays, and you're up in Harlem, you're gonna try to find someone to pick up your bike. It's not gonna be easy, because they consider it like a special load, So it's not gonna be easy at all. Scientology's here on 125th. I remember when I used to live in LA, the Scientology in West Hollywood. It was a big one. The building looks really nice though, the Scientology here in Harlem. It's interesting how they chose Harlem to be their headquarters. And it's a really nice building that they bought there. I guess they own it. I would love to do business with Scientology, but the last time I tried, it's not as simple as you might think. Like, becoming a vendor with them means you have to be involved with them too. All right, everybody. I'll see you on the next one.